Olivia Henson's life took an unexpected turn when she said yes to a date with Hugh Grosvenor, the Duke of Westminster. Little did she know this decision would link her life with one of Britain's oldest and wealthiest families. As Olivia stepped into a world of long-standing traditions and grand estates, she also stepped into a role that bridged the gap between her modest upbringing and the historic Grosvenor lineage, marking a new chapter for both. Olivia Grace Henson is a name that wasn't immediately popular in gossip magazines, but it has a deep connection to history. She was born in London on a sunny September day in 1992 to a mix of bankers and nobles. Her father, Rupert Cornelius Brooke Henson, is a well-known and respected banker in London. This job helped the family's reputation in the city's business world. She came from a family tree that went back to Sir Richard Hoare, who started England's oldest private bank. Her mother, Caroline Belinda Frisby, brought love into the home. Olivia's mother's family tree was especially impressive. Lady Geraldine Mariana Hoare, her great-great-grandmother, was a famous person of her time. She was related to Lord Augustus Hervey, and through him, to the upper classes of British society, including John Manners, the 5th Duke of Rutland. These links gave Olivia's early life a rich historical background that stood in stark contrast to the more normal parts of her life. Getting educated was important to the Henson family, and Olivia's schooling began at the Dragon School in Oxford, where she met people of similar social standing, such as Princess Eugenie, and where lifelong friendships were formed. Olivia followed her path to Wiltshire's esteemed boarding school, Marlborough College, where she flourished both academically and personally. She then crossed the Irish Sea to Trinity College, Dublin, where she studied Hispanic studies and Italian, which may have been an early sign of her future work in the global food and drink industry. Olivia didn't take it easy after she graduated. She engaged herself in London's busy scene for making food in an ethical way. By 2019, she was an important part of Bella Zoo, a company known for its dedication to quality and sustainability. She had also worked for a while at Daily Dose, a business famous for its pressed juices. During this time of work growth, her personal life took a turn straight out of a fairy tale. It was a quiet, almost muted moment at Eaton Hall, which is owned by Hugh Grosvenor, the 7th Duke of Westminster. That moment changed Olivia's life forever. Hugh, who was a member of Britain's upper class and was close to the royal family, asked Olivia to marry him after they had been together for almost 2 years. On June 7, 2024, they got married in a big ceremony at Chester Cathedral. This was the start of a new chapter in history. Olivia made history when she wore the Grosvenor diamond tiara from 1906 and a dress that looked like her great-great-grandmother's wedding veil from 1898. Royalty and friends attended the event. When Olivia Henson marries Hugh Grosvenor, the 7th Duke of Westminster, she joins the long and prestigious Grosvenor family. But she's not just joining a family with a historic estate. In the exclusive neighbourhoods of Mayfair and Belgravia in West London, she is becoming a part of a family heritage that shapes a lot of the country's business and charity life. But the Duke runs the Grosvenor Group, which has a lot more to do than just these wealthy areas. The Grosvenor Group is more than just high-end real estate. It's a huge network of businesses and projects happening all over the world. The group is interested in more than just their well-known London properties. They're also interested in food production, farming technologies, and large rural estates in northern England and the Scottish Highlands. Their effects can be felt on multiple countries and can be seen in both urban growth and conservation efforts. Hugh Grosvenor was given this empire when his father died too soon in 2016, when he was only 25 years old. Since then, he has not only kept the family's big plans going, but he has also made them bigger. One of these is the Westminster Foundation, which helped kids and teens in need all over the UK with over £6.7 million in 2022. Wealth in the Grosvenor family goes back to 1677, when they got married and bought the land that would become the basis of their modern real estate business. In 1952, they changed their plan in a big way, which led to a new era of growth and progress around the world. They worked on the first industrial park in Canada and big projects to improve cities, like Liverpool One. The way the group is managed and decisions are made show that their business strategy is to be strong and patient. They've been able to keep growth and security by being careful when the economy is bad. This shows that they care more about long-term plans than short-term gains. Though it is privately held, the Grosvenor Group is as transparent as a public firm. They provide detailed reports and financial accounts to everyone once a year. The pandemic destroyed the market in 2023, although the group's diverse holdings were valued at £8.6 billion. This demonstrates their excellent management of their company and their high standards. Let us turn from the enormous scope of the Grosvenor estate and its charitable activities to a more personal period in Olivia Henson's life, her meeting and marriage to Hugh Grosvenor. A man not just defined by his title as the Duke of Westminster, but also by his spirited involvement in both the family's expansive property empire and charitable foundations, met Olivia through a twist of fate and friendship. About 2 years before their engagement, they were introduced by mutual friends, a casual meeting that would turn into a royal romance. Olivia, who grew up in the streets of London and the tranquil plains of Oxfordshire, had a solid academic background from Marlborough College and Trinity College, Dublin. Her professional life was strongly rooted in the sustainable food sector, demonstrating her dedication to significant work. Hugh, on the other hand, balanced his extensive responsibilities with personal interests, such as representing Team Great Britain in Olympic skeet shooting, demonstrating his diverse personality. Their engagement, which took place at Hugh's majestic family home, Eaton Hall, was as stunning as the setting itself. Hugh proposed here against the grandeur of Cheshire's historical backdrop. As the wedding day approached, enthusiasm spread not only among the privileged guests, but also among the general people. Outside Chester Cathedral, the air buzzed with anticipation. Spectators gathered, hoping to catch a glimpse of the royals or the beautiful bride. Prince William, serving as Hugh's usher and a long-standing friend, was among the notable attendees, adding to the high-profile nature of the event. The wedding itself was a vibrant affair. As guests arrived, they were greeted by the sight of beautifully dressed figures, their elegant attire brightening the day. Hugh and his groomsmen made a dashing entry in a khaki green Land Rover, cheered on by the crowd, demonstrating his beloved status in the community. And then there was Olivia, arriving in style in a vintage Bentley. As she stepped out, escorted by her father, she was a vision of understated elegance. Her gown, a creation by Emma Victoria Payne, flowed beautifully, complemented by the historic Fabergé myrtle leaf tiara. The ceremony inside the cathedral was steeped in tradition, with heartfelt vows exchanged under the watchful eyes of family, friends, and divine statues. As they emerged as husband and wife, the couple shared a kiss that sealed their bond, a moment of joy amidst the cheers of the assembled crowd. The celebration continued back at Eaton Hall, where a private party awaited, marking the beginning of their new life together. Olivia Henson in particular, and her connection to the Norman conquest of 1066, are critical to discuss here. This historic event not only transformed the English socio-political landscape, but also marked the start of Olivia's family heritage in England, which she shares with her husband, Hugh Grosvenor, Duke of Westminster. Olivia's heritage, particularly through her maternal line, the Frisby family, goes back to Simon Rolfe Frisby. This connection highlights a tremendous historical legacy dating back to the Norman conquest. The Frisby surname, which originates with the ancient Frisians of the modern Frisia region in northwestern Europe, narrates a story of migration and settlement. The name combines Fria, which refers to the Frisian people, and By, an Old Norse term for a farm or settlement, symbolizing the family's voyage from Frisia to England. The Norman conquest had a profound impact on Olivia and her family. This event resulted in a significant redistribution of land and power, benefiting people of Norman descent. Such families, frequently regarded as members of England's ancient nobility, acquired not only land, but also significant social prestige and influence, a story comparable to that of established families such as the Percys and Cavendishes. The Frisby family's migration to Ireland adds to the story, echoing larger transfers of English families to various colonies during periods of political turmoil in Britain. Over the ages, the spelling and pronunciation of the Frisby name have altered, reflecting the influence of Norman French, Latin, and Old French on the English language, as well as the era's fluid spelling customs. The legacy of the Frisians, from whom Olivia descended, is still seen in cultural, economic, and political landscapes of the northern Netherlands and Germany. The West Frisian language, in particular, maintains an important aspect of regional identity in Friesland, Netherlands, where it has official recognition and educational support. In England, the Frisby name is associated with various sites, including Frisby on the Reek and Frisby by Gby. Historical sources such as the Domesday Book of 1086 describe the Frisby family's extensive landholdings and their position as lords of the manor of Frisby, highlighting their importance in local society following the Norman conquest. As a result, Olivia's genealogy is more than just a story of aristocratic connections. It is also a lively narrative of migration, settlement, and integration into new cultures, supplemented by her family's ongoing ties to historical figures, such as William the Conqueror. This shared historical depth adds another degree of connection to her husband's ancestry, weaving their histories into the rich mosaic of British nobility. Olivia Henson has ties to a key figure in the British banking business that can be found by looking into her family history. The famous C. Hoare & Co. is in her family tree. It is the longest private bank in the UK and has been run by the Hoare family for 12 generations. Olivia has a connection to this well-known bank through her great-grandmother, Angela Barrell, who is Simon Rolfe Frisby's mother. The bank was started by Sir Richard Hoare in 1672. Its first logo was a golden bottle, which was a common way for businesses to be identified before street numbers were used. After finishing his apprenticeship, Sir Richard was granted the freedom of the Goldsmiths Company, a prestigious honour among the City of London's livery companies. This title not only granted benefits, but also established a respected standing in London's mercantile and artisan groups. Sir Richard's transition from goldsmith's shop to banking was natural, as goldsmiths, who were traditionally in charge of currency and assets, were well suited to provide banking services. By 1677, many had begun to offer what became known as running cash or current accounts. The bank had a good time in the 18th century. Queen Anne gave Sir Richard a job in 1702. He later became Lord Mayor of London. After he died, Henry and Benjamin, his sons, worked to increase the family's power in London's business and charity worlds. In banking history, Henry Hoare was a really significant figure. Henry the Magnificent was given the name due to his works of art and the expansion of the Stourhead estate. Among the major changes he made was the creation of printed cheques. One significant customer of the bank was members of the Society for the Propagation of Christian Knowledge. This shows how nicely it integrates with the charity and intellectual circles in London. C. Hoare & Co. prospered and significantly enriched the social and cultural fabric of the day under his supervision. Olivia Henson's links to ancient money, then, go beyond simple personal connections and are deeply embedded in the history of London's financial institutions. Considering these remarkable ties, her fortune has not directly benefited from the recent financial booms at her inherited bank. Olivia Henson's mother is linked to the illustrious Dukes of Rutland, a family with a long history in England's upper classes. The Dukes are linked to the Manners family, which has maintained its prominence over generations by owning a large amount of property, having great position at court, and being involved in the country's political and military life. During the 18th century, particularly when the Whigs were in power, the Dukes of Rutland had significant power. Their intelligent marriages had an impact on politics and society. There was more to John Manners' marriage to Lady Catherine Russell than simply getting married. In 1703, the Earl of Rutland was made a duke. Their influence also reached the military, especially through the Marquis of Granby, who was a well-known general during the 7 Years' War. Even now, his name is on more pubs across the country than the name of any other historical figure, except the Queen. That's how famous he was. The Dukes of Rutland have been important art patrons for a long time. Haddon Hall in Derbyshire was restored because the 9th Duke liked art from the Middle Ages. The hall is a great example of a medieval building with Tudor touches. The family's ancestral home, Belvoir Castle, is a cultural landmark with beautiful architecture that has been used in movies and TV shows like The Crown. This exposure has not only highlighted the estate's architectural magnificence, but also the family's continuous involvement in England's cultural landscape. The Dukes of Rutland continue to have an impact on society today. The 11th Duke, known for his vast money and political clout, has used Belvoir Castle to host fundraising events for the UK Independence Party, as well as other social gatherings such as shooting parties and weddings. However, a recent instance involving the burning of moorland near Sheffield aroused public debate and criticism, emphasizing the environmental consequences of ancient landed gentry practices. Despite these modern controversies, Olivia's relationship with the Dukes of Rutland remains remote, protecting her from the immediate consequences of these issues. As Olivia begins her life with Hugh Grosvenor, her connection to this famous lineage emphasizes her position within the sphere of secret old money, adding an element of mystery to her destiny as Duchess. Now you know the interesting story of how Olivia Grosvenor, a woman with her own unique background, married into the prestigious old money world of the Grosvenor family. Olivia's path to becoming a noblewoman is both interesting and lucky, thanks to chance connections and a family background steeped in history. What do you think about these intersections of love, legacy, and lineage? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and see you in the next video.